Deadly roads you'd never want to drive on. Have you ever been in a car accident? No? Well, if you want to keep it that way, then stay as far away as possible from these deadly roads. Whether it's dangerous drivers, overloaded trucks, collapsing geology, or all-out war, these are the roads to avoid if you want to arrive alive. Number 1 on our list of deadly drives is this famous high-elevation highway. It's the Karakoram Highway, linking Gilgit in Pakistan and Kashgar in China. First, a little history. In days of yore, this stretch of donkey ditches winded through the western Himalayas and was part of the famous Silk Road trading route. In 1959, the newborn nations of Pakistan and the People's Republic of China decided to hack a drivable path out of the rock. 200 Chinese workers and over 800 Pakistanis were killed in the process. But in 1979, the road opened and started killing drivers almost immediately. When it comes to driving hazards, the Karakoram Highway has them in spades. As you can see here, the first and foremost problem drivers are likely to encounter is flying rocks trying to kill you. You see, even though the road is over 15,000 feet high at the top, the mountains around it go up to 26,000 feet and drop rock bombs all the darn time. So wear a helmet. And if the road fails to ding your Datsun with the first rock, it can always send an avalanche down as well. And when it's not the mountain itself trying to kill you, you better believe there's plenty of overloaded trucks and buses who are willing to take up the slack. In a theme you'll see repeated several more times over the course of this listicle, a combination of penniless commuters and not enough buses leads to everyone and everything cramming into one vehicle. Add a 10,000-foot drop and bottom-of-the-barrel bus drivers to the mix, and disaster is sure to ensue. Finally, you might be a pro at avoiding homicidal drop rocks and suicidal bus drivers, but the Karakoram Highway's last hazard requires less agility and more diplomacy to avoid, because almost the entire length of the road rests on the hotly contested territory of Kashmir. Our second most deadly road might not be a nuclear flashpoint, but no list of deadly roads would be complete without it. It's Bolivia's Road of Death, duh! Formerly named the Northern Yungas Road, the Road of Death connects the Bolivian capital La Paz to the town of Coroico. The road was built in the 1930s by prisoners of war, and up until recently was still killing 200 to 300 travelers a year on average. The Road of Death is a mostly one-lane wide, dirt path hacked into the Andes, and features no guardrails to keep you from diving over a 2,000-foot cliff. If the usual mixture of overloaded trucks and buses trying to pass one another doesn't kill you first, mudslides, torrential rain, and good old-fashioned human error are sure to do the job. As if the local traffic wasn't bad enough, mountain biking tourists have added to the road's congestion. From the highest point at over 15,000 feet, you can roll downhill for over 60 kilometers until you reach the end of the road at around 4,000 feet. Yay, look ma, no hands! Our number 3 fatality factory is the only one located in a first world country. This is Taiwan's Suhua Highway, and it connects Suhua Township to Hualien City on the country's east coast. When it was finished in 1932, it was just a one-lane road, similar to the Bolivian Road of Death. Except falling over the side will drop you 1,000 feet directly into the Pacific Ocean, instead of some South American jungle. In 2010, a packed tour bus did exactly that, when it was swept over the cliff during a typhoon. In 1990, the road was widened to allow two-way traffic, meaning now this could happen. The road is both a tourist attraction and a major shipping route for industrial mines, meaning more truck-on-bus violence is inevitable. Number 4 on our death list takes us back to ever-dangerous South Central Asia, that is. This is the Kabul-Jalalabad Road, or Afghan Highway number 1. The 160-kilometer-long highway from the Afghan capital to Jalalabad used to be paved when it was completed in the 1960s. But 40 years of constant war has reduced much of it to slippery, slidey gravel. The most dangerous section is the 64-kilometer-long Kabul River Gorge, sometimes cheerily called the Valley of Death. It features a 300-meter-high cliff, plus overloaded trucks with inexperienced drivers nodding off on opium. If the crazy Afghan drivers don't get you, the Taliban just might. Machine gun attacks on passing cars, roadside bombs, and suicide attacks are a daily occurrence. Geez, if I had to take this road to work every day, I might want some opium too. Our number 5 and final road to oblivion is the Zoji Pass, or Zoji La as the locals call it. The Zoji Pass is located over 11,000 feet up in the western Himalayas. If that location sounds familiar to you, then you've been paying attention. It's just a hop, skip, and a 5-mile high mountain away from our number 1, the Karakoram Highway. The Zoji Pass is in Indian-administered Kashmir and is just as deadly as its Pakistani partner, even if it's only 9 kilometers long. The Zoji Pass is inaccessible in the winter when it's buried under deep snow. People have been dying over this stretch of road ever since 1947, when Pakistani troops briefly occupied it before being pushed out again by Indian Army tanks. That's all the deadly roads you'd never want to drive on for today, dear viewers. But don't worry, we'll reveal even more places you could potentially die in deadly roads too. The bitumen is back.